the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the transcendental Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Hare Krishna. Thank you, dear devotees, for your association. I seek your blessings so that I can speak in the mood of our Guru Parampara. Hare Krishna. We are continuing our reading of Canto 1, Chapter 19, Text 20. Text 20, 11920. Please repeat after me. न वा idam rajarषिवर्यचित्रम् न वा idam rajarषिवर्यचित्रम् भवत्सु कृष्णं समनुव्रतेषु भवत्सु कृष्णं समनुव्रतेषु ये ध्यासनं राजकिरीटचुष्टम् ये ध्यासनं राजकिरीटजुष्टम् सद्यो जहुर्भगवत्पार्श्वकामा सद्यो जहुर्भगवत्पार्श्वकामा न वा इदं राजर्षिवर्यचित्रम् भवत्सु कृष्णं समनुव्रतेषु ये ध्यासनं राजकिरीटजुष्टम् सद्यो जहुर्भगवत्पार्श्वकामा न वा इदं राजर्षिवर्यचित्रम् भवत्सु कृष्णं समनुव्रतेषु ये ध्यासनं राजकिरीटजुष्टम् सद्यो जहुर्भगवत्पार्श्वकामा न वा इदं राजर्षिवर्यचित्रम् भवत्सु कृष्णं समनुव्रतेषु ये ध्यासनं राजकिरीटजुष्टम् सद्यो जहुर्भगवत्पार्श्वकामा. Word for word translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Na, neither. Va, like this. Idam, this. Rajarishi, saintly king. Varya, the chief. Chitram, astonishing. Bhavatsu, unto all of you. Krishnam, Lord Krishna. Samanuvrateshu, unto those who are strictly in the line of. Ye, who. Adhyasanam, seated on the throne. Raj Kirita, helmets of kings. Jushtam, decorated. Satya, immediately. Jahu, gave up. Bhagavat, the personality of Godhead. Parshvakamaha, desiring to achieve association. Translation: the sages said, O chief of all the saintly kings of the Pandu dynasty, who are strictly in the line of Lord Sri Krishna, it is not at all astonishing that you gave up your throne, which is decorated with the helmets of many kings, to achieve eternal association with the personality of Godhead. Purport: foolish politicians who hold political administrative posts think that the temporary posts they occupy are the highest material gain of life, and therefore they stick to those posts even up to the last moment of life, without knowing that achievement of liberation as one of the associates of the Lord in his eternal abode is the highest gain of life. The human life is meant for achieving this end. The Lord has assured us in the Bhagavad Gita many times that going back to Godhead, his eternal abode, is the highest achievement. Prahlad Maharaj, while praying to Lord Nrsimhadev, said, quote, "O my Lord, I am very much afraid of the materialistic way of life, and I am not the least afraid of your present ghastly, ferocious feature as Nrsimhadev. This materialistic way of life is something like a grinding stone, and we are being crushed by it. We have fallen into this horrible whirlpool of the tossing waves of life, and thus, my Lord, I pray at your lotus feet to call me back to your eternal abode as one of your servitors. This is the summit liberation of this materialistic way of life. I have very bitter experience of the materialistic way of life. In whichever species of life I have taken birth, compelled by the force of my own activities, I have very painfully experienced two things, namely, separation from my beloved and meeting with what is not wanted. And to counteract them, the remedies which I undertook were more dangerous than the disease itself. So I drift from one point to another, birth after birth, and I pray to you, therefore, to give me a shelter at your lotus feet. End of quote. The Pandava kings, who are more than many saints of the world, knew the bitter results of the materialistic way of life. They were never captivated by the glare of the imperial throne they occupied, and they sought always the opportunity of being called by the Lord to associate with him eternally. Maharaj Parikshit was the worthy grandson of Maharaj Yudhishthir. Maharaj Yudhishthir gave up the imperial throne to his grandson, and similarly Maharaj Parikshit, the grandson of Maharaj Yudhishthir, gave up the imperial throne to his son Janmejaya. That is the way of all the kings in the dynasty, because they are all strictly in the line of Lord Krishna. Thus, devotees of the Lord are never enchanted by the glare of materialistic life, and they live impartially, unattached to the objects of the false, illusory materialistic way of life. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshtarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhattavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Krishna, dear devotees. So, in the last verse, we heard from His Grace Vijay Prabhu that Parikshit Maharaj has stated with firm determination to fast until death, and he sought blessings from all the present sages and Mother Ganges so that he can listen to the glories of Lord Vishnu until his death by the bite of the snake bird, Takshak. So after hearing his determination, the sages are so happy. Their joy knew no bounds because they know that this is the highest perfection of life, to go back home, back to Godhead. And now they are replying to his determination. This is the beginning words where the sages are appreciating Maharaj Parikshit. So now they are saying that it is not at all astonishing that you are doing this because you come in the line of Pandu dynasty, where all the kings are strictly in the line of Krishna. So we can see from the purport, Prabhupada emphasizes two things. One is the temporary, insubstantial nature of the material world, And second thing is the importance of being born in the line of devotees and families. So we will hear about these two and then we'll conclude. How does that sound? Hare Krishna. Okay, so first thing that Prabhupada mentions in the purport is that foolish materialistic people or politicians, they stick to their posts until the end of life because they don't understand the highest gain of life. What is the highest gain of life? Is to associate with Krishna in the abode, in the spiritual abode, which is eternal. How do we understand this, the temporary nature of this world? How do we understand the eternal nature of the spiritual world? So Krishna speaks in in Srimad Bhagavatam to Uddhava in 11th canto. He says, Shruti pratyaksham aitiham anumanam chatushtayam pramaneshu anavasthanat vikalpat savirajyate. Krishna says, by Shruti, which is Vedic knowledge, by pratyaksham, direct perception, aitiham means traditional wisdom, anumana, by logical induction, one should understand the temporary insubstantial nature of the material world, and thus one should free oneself from the duality of this world. So there are four different evidences that we can see in this world to free oneself from the duality. So we can discuss them a little bit. Vedic knowledge means what we receive from the previous sages, or it is spoken by Krishna himself. Shruti means that it is spoken by Krishna himself. It also includes Smriti, means that the sages have realized this through their samadhis. So Prabhupada in the purport emphasizes Bhagavad Gita because Krishna says many times in Bhagavad Gita how it is important to go back to the spiritual world. So one particular verse Krishna says, it's in chapter 8, text number 15. Krishna says, chapter 8, text 15, Mamupetya punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gata. He says that after achieving me, Mamupetya punarjanma, after achieving me, they don't get birth again. Where? Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. This world which is full of miseries, and even if there is some happiness, it is temporary. Napnuvanti Mahatmana Samsiddhim Paramamgata. So this is the highest gain of life. Samsiddhim Paramamgata. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita many times, Abrahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartino Arjuna Mamupetya Kontya Punarjanmana Vidyate. In this material world, if you go from the highest planet, which is Brahmalok, up to the lowest planet, there is the birth and death. There is a cycle of birth and death. But once you receive me, once you come to me, then there is no more miseries. So this is Vedic knowledge. Srila Prabhupada here gives the verses by Prahlad Maharaj spoken to Nrsingadev. This is from 7th Canto, chapter 19, text 15 through 17. Prabhupada has quoted them as translations here. So Prahlad Maharaj is glorifying Nrsingadev. He's trying to pacify. Nrsingadev is so angry even after killing Hiranyakashipu, who had tormented Prahlad. Even after killing, he is not pacified. So all the demigods, they try to pacify Nrsimhadev. They fail, and finally Lord Brahma requests Prahlad Maharaj, he has come for you, Lord has come for you, please you go ahead and try to pacify. So Prahlad Maharaj offers beautiful prayers to Nrsimhadev, and in those prayers he says that, my Lord, I am not afraid of your fearful feature, your ghastly features like the eyebrows, the fierce eyebrows, your fierce teeth, your mane soaked with blood of my father, your garland of intestines. I do not feel afraid of it, but I am afraid of your Vishnu Maya. I'm afraid of your material nature because um, I keep coming back here to enjoy, and all I get is misery. So Prahlad Maharaj is saying that there are two things which happen to me when I come to this material world. One is that I have to sever my relationship with my loved ones. I cannot keep them eternally. And second thing is that I am being tormented by the miseries. He says exactly, namely separation from my beloved and mating with what is not wanted. So he compares the material world to a grinding stone. The exact word which is used is samsara chakra. It's a wheel of cycle of birth and death, and I am being crushed by this grinding stone. We come to this material world, we study hard so that we can have a happy life, but at no point the miseries stop. Sometimes there are miseries from our own body, sometimes from other people, sometimes from the environment. So I'm constantly being ground by this stone until I die. However, excuse me, when I take your shelter, then I feel freedom from this material world. So please call me back to the eternal world. Please give me association of your devotees. In the purport to 7.9.15, Srila Prabhupada writes, just like the lion is ferocious to all the animals, except his own cub. The cub is not afraid of the lion. Similarly, a devotee of the Lord is not afraid. Prahlad Maharaj is not afraid of Nrsingadev. Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita that I am Mrityu Sarva Harasham. I am death myself, death personified. So for a devotee, death is not fearful. Death is an invitation to go back home, back to the spiritual world, or to continue one's journey in the material world in the service to Krishna. However, devotee never wants to be in the forgetfulness of Krishna. That is the power of the material nature. The material nature can put us in forgetfulness, even while we are part of a spiritual organization. So it is very important and essential for us to take shelter of devotee association. So Krishna says this in Bhagavad Gita in chapter 4. He says that Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya updekshanti tad jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. I want to read that translation. There is a series of verses how one can achieve transcendental knowledge. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. I've given this example in the past. A person who is expert in a particular trade, he can see how things are working. For example, a car mechanic can see what is the problem in the car. If I see and the mechanic sees, there's a difference. The mechanic can see the truth. I cannot see the truth. Similarly, a person who is a software engineer, by seeing the software, he can see what is the problem, what is the bug. But a person who is an ordinary layman, he cannot see. So what is the difference between the two? That's the knowledge. Otherwise, externally, it is the same thing for both of them. It's just the knowledge which is making the difference. How to receive knowledge? By approaching a spiritual master. What happens after we approach? Having obtained real knowledge from a self-realized soul, you will never fall again into such illusion. For by this knowledge, you will see that all living beings are but part of the Supreme, or in other words, that they are mine. So we see when we go on book distribution, we appreciate everybody, we compliment everybody, and we can see that everybody is going through pains and pleasures like me. So a person who goes on book distribution, who goes to preach, he can feel that we are all part and parcel of Krishna. He can experience it on the spot. Krishna says, such person who can empathize with others' pains and pleasures like one's own, he is the perfect yogi. When I was on book distribution in Southern California, there was rain, but we were able to distribute books. Um, we were covered nicely with clothing. We had nice prasadam. We had a place to stay, but we would see people who are homeless who don't have place to stay. I asked one person to take a book. He said, I didn't have my meal. If you can give me something to eat." I think we had something I don't remember that time, but it is so important for them to have food, to have their basic necessities met. So Vashishika Maharaj always recommends us to carry prasadam with us along with books. And he also emphasized during his yatra, recent youth yatra, they distributed 5,000 lollipops along with books. So it is important to give them prasadam and books. There was another guy I met outside 7-Eleven. He was just lying down. He was homeless. I offered him a Bhagavad Gita stack, and he said, I don't have any money, but he had two lighters. So I got one of them. That's the blue one. So I said, give me like something. And we are using that in offering worship to Krishna. You know the story when there was a brahmachari who was begging door to door for alms, and there was a fight going on between husband and wife in one of the houses. So they were very angry. And when they saw this brahmachari, they actually gave him ashes. Take this and go away. And this brahmachari, he accepted the ashes and he went back to his ashram and he would use the ashes to clean the arti paraphernalia. The brass paraphernalia, ashes are good for cleaning. And the next time after many days, he visited that same house, and this husband and wife they fell down at the feet of this brahmachari and they begged forgiveness. By offering that ashes in Krishna service, they got realized knowledge. So if we offer some service to Krishna, we go out to share Krishna with others. So Krishna gives us realized knowledge by book distribution. Both are benefited, the person who is distributing books and the person who is giving donation. It's a win-win situation, which rarely happens in this material world. Even if you are considered to be the most sinful of all sinners, when you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, you will be able to cross over the ocean of miseries. As a blazing fire turns firewood to ashes, O Arjuna, so does the fire of knowledge burn to ashes all reactions to material activities. This is really powerful. We cannot imagine how much karma we have accrued from millions of lifetimes. We can feel it because there are so many anarthas in the heart: lust, anger, greed. So we can see the intensity of karma that we are carrying. In order to burn that karma, it seems impossible. It is impossible for us. However, this transcendental knowledge is like fire and it can burn all of them into ashes. It is said that by remembering Krishna, all our karma from the past, present, and future is burnt. There are many stages of karma. Karma is like a seed, and then it fructifies, then it grows and then there's a fruit that comes into our life. So all of them are burned by devotional service. Aprarabdha phalam kutam. Yeah, there's a very nice verse from Padma Purana. Aprarabdha phalam. Let me just check my shloka book. Papam 369. अप्रारब्धफलं पापं कूटं बीजं फलोन्मुखं क्रमेणैव प्रलीयेत विष्णुभक्तिरतात्मनां. Padma Purana. There are different stages of dormant reactions to sinful activities to be observed in a sinful life. Sinful reactions may be just waiting to take effect, reactions may be still further dormant, or the reactions may be in a seed-like state. In any case, all types of sinful reactions are vanquished one after another if a person engages in the devotional service of Lord Vishnu. In this world, there is nothing so sublime and pure as transcendental knowledge. Such knowledge is the mature fruit of all mysticism, and one who has become accomplished in the practice of devotional service enjoys this knowledge within himself in due course of time. So we can see that many devotees who came in Krishna consciousness, earlier they were having all the bad habits of meat eating, illicit sex, gambling, intoxication. But as they practice, they can experience some change of heart. Sometimes there has to be some bliss. Otherwise, we cannot give up these things. Why do we do certain things? Because it gives us some kind of satisfaction or pleasure inside. So only when we get something higher, we'll be able to give up something lower. So these devotees actually feel transformation of heart, some ecstasy in the heart, as His Grace Dravida Prabhu says, ecstasized. It's a word, ecstasized. A faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses is eligible to achieve such knowledge, and having achieved it, he quickly attains this supreme spiritual peace. So that's why we have regular classes on the Bhagavatam. नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके bhaktir bhakti nishtiki. By regular attendance in the classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. But ignorant and faithless persons who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. They fall down. For the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. So these are people who do not have faith in the scriptures. They don't feel like happiness here nor in the next world. So too bad. So that's our situation. It's important that we go out and share Krishna consciousness with others in a way which is suitable. Logically, we can induce this from our family tree, how my father has enjoyed his life materially, how his father had enjoyed. Are they really happy to continue the same thing, getting married, getting children, raising the family, and then leaving the body, dwindling and vanishing? Did they achieve happiness in their life? So logical induction also can be used to understand the insubstantial nature of this material world. Do I want to repeat the same thing in my life, or do I want to change something? That's why the hippies were not satisfied during the counterculture. Although their families were well-to-do and they were following all the standard things, raising family, getting married, following the laws, but they didn't see them happy in their life, so they wanted to protest. So their protest was that do anything that make you feel good. That's the way of protesting, grow hair, engage in illicit sex, have drugs, do anything which make you feel happy. But of course that was also not the way to be happy. So real happiness comes by pleasing Krishna, by chanting Hare Krishna, by honoring Krishna Prasadam, by discussing Krishna Katha. So this is the first part of the purport. Second part of the purport is about the lineage. So here Maharaj Parikshit is born in a lineage of devotees in the line of Krishna. Many times we say that the caste system is wrong because it is not by birth. But here we see it is by birth that he is getting good qualities. Maharaj Parikshit is born in the line of great devotees. So it is not that the birth will not have an impact. It has an impact on a person's nature and lifestyle. However, it is not mandatory that he will continue those traits. So Krishna says, Chatur Varnam Maya Srishtam Gun Karma Vibhagasha. Of course, so the Varna, your family has a lot of impact on your nature. But it doesn't mean that it will stay like that forever. That's why we say birth is not the essential factor. However, it is an important factor in a person's life. Birth. So Maharaj Parikshit is born in a family of devotees. From his birth, he would play with the dolls of Krishna. So he has love for Krishna from the beginning of his life because he's born in a devotee family. And that's why it was easy for him to give up this throne. It is said that this throne was decorated with helmets of many kings, right? Because as we remember, when Maharaj Parikshit was given the throne by Maharaj Yudhishthir, he did not just accept it, he went to conquer the four directions. And he showed by his personal power that he was a worthy emperor for the entire world. So all these people who were conquered, their helmets were as if decorating the throne. But Maharaj Parikshit, he was not attached. He could give it up. For him, it was more important to get association of the Lord in the spiritual world. So he was able to give it up. ये ही संस्पर्शजा भोगा दुःख योनय एवते आदि अंतवंत कौन्तेय न तेषु रमते बुधा. So a person who is intelligent, he does not take pleasure in the material pleasures which have a beginning and an end, and they are born out of sense perception about the senses coming in touch with sense objects. So that this knowledge is automatically or naturally available for a person being born in a devotee family. And Maharaj Parikshit took benefit of it, but it's not mandatory that people will take benefit of it. So it yeah, we can see it is very crucial to be born in a devotee family and to take benefit of it. Um, yeah, I will stop here for any questions or reflections. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Anybody online? We have Adinath Krishna Prabhu and Rahul Prabhu from India.
Okay, quickly talk about the how the bija is burnt away, the
Mm.
tendency to sin.
Mm.
So generally the example is given that the seeds are fried, so they cannot uh, germinate
Yeah.
anymore. And can you talk about how the three types of karma are removed by following the process in which
So the question is how karma is burnt by performing devotional service. The three stages of karma, which is dormant stage, seed, and fruit, fructifying. How it is done?
So how do we say that we don't perform any activities? I mean, we don't perform any activities that accrue karma. Maybe whatever we perform, I mean, please, the intention is we perform devotional service, so we don't create more karma.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have some karma for this lifetime, and then stop piling karma from many lifetimes.
Yes.
So how are all these three removed? And the tendency to sin, how is that removed?
Yeah, tendency to sin, that's the most important. It is given in the conversation in sixth canto beginning when Parikshit Maharaj asked the question, how can these people be saved from the hellish planets? It was described in the fifth canto towards the end, the description of different hellish planets. People perform so many sinful activities and they are being burned or they are being thrown in a pot of boiling oil. So much painful, so painful. They are being thrown from a cliff. and they don't die. They have a body which is given just so that they can pain, they can experience extreme pain, excruciating pain. Person who drinks liquor, he is given hot iron, melted iron to drink. So those kind of sufferings were explained in fifth canto towards the end in different hellish planets. So Parikshit Maharaj asked this question, Shukdev Goswami, please tell how can these people be relieved of these hellish planets? So Shukdev Goswami says atonement, prayashchit. One has to, before one dies, one has to atone for one's sinful activities. Then one can get free. So Maharaj Parikshit appreciated the answer. He said, yeah, it is good, but this atonement is like taking bath for an elephant. An elephant goes to take bath in the pond and comes out and again puts sand all over its body. So one may perform atonement for a particular karma, but the sinful tendency is still there, and he will again commit the same sin. Just like we go to, um, we park our uh, we park our vehicle and don't pay the parking ticket. We get a ticket and then we commit the same thing again. We pay the ticket and we do the same thing. So this atonement, this doesn't help fix the situation. Please tell me something which fixes the situation for once and for all. Then, of course, he talks about Gyan Yoga. That's very beautiful section. That one. So first was Karma Yoga, that you perform atonement, and then there's Gyan Yoga, that uh, there's a very beautiful Tapsa Brahmacharena Shamena cha Damena cha Tyagen Satyashochabhyam Yamena Niyamena va. To concentrate the mind, one must observe a life of celibacy and not fall down. One must undergo the austerity of voluntarily giving up sense enjoyment. One must then control the mind and senses, give charity, be truthful, clean, and non violent, follow the regulatory principles, and regularly chant the holy name of the Lord. So, this is the solution, this is the ultimate solution, that one should regularly chant the holy name of the Lord. Then, what is the solution? What happens? What is the effect of chanting? This is given in 6.1.15. Only a rare person who has adopted complete, unalloyed devotional service to Krishna can uproot the weeds of sinful actions with no possibility that they will revive. He can do this simply by discharging devotional service, just as the sun can immediately dissipate fog by its rays. So the chanting of the holy names removes the sinful tendency of the person who is committing it. It is like a solution, which can remove very hard stains. So it's the ultimate solution which can dissolve all the tendencies for committing sinful activities from millions of lifetimes. And we can see that another example is of Gundicha Marjan, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu cleaned the Gundicha temple with many devotees, and he was asking them to clean very deeply. So the deeper we clean, and we perform our devotional service, the intensity with which we perform the devotional service, the corresponding, we can see the tendency to commit sinful activity will go away. So it has to be, with the intensity. According to our intensity, we can see the result. And another example is given of the magnifying glass, or is it the convex glass? When the sun, there are many sun rays, and when you use it's magnifying. No, biconvex glass, which is used to focus the sun rays. So when it is focused in one place, it can burn the paper. Similarly, devotional service, there's this casual devotional service. You can do casual devotional service and it burns the karma. But if you really want to have the tendency removed from your heart, one has to perform intense. Intense devotional means nityam. It has to be done daily. That is, consistency is the king. If we do consistently, then we can see the result. In exercise or diet routine, anything, one has to do consistently to see a difference. Otherwise, it's like cooking. with the stove on and then off, then on and then off. It's like yo-yo dieting. Sometimes you do it, sometimes you don't do it. So the sabji won't cook. The temperature has to be the same for a constant time, for a certain amount of time. Then you can expect the sabji to cook.